Hello, boys and girls. Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here to make you another cocktail. This week's cocktail is the Fancy Frog, and it is the featured cocktail in this week's episode. I'm going to start. We're going to fill our ice. We're going to fill our glass with ice and our shaker with ice as well. Going to add vodka. 1.5 ounces of vodka. Next, orange liqueur. Woo. Cointreau. 1/2 ounce. That had been bad. Next, simple syrup. 1/3 ounce. And bitters, another 1/3 ounce. Smells delicious. Then we shake. Alright. Next, strain our cocktail into our glass. Fancy Frog. I'm not sure why it's called Fancy Frog, but whatever. There you go, boys and girls. Let's see. Not bad. Definitely get the orange liqueur and the bitters. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya.
Maybe you're filthy rich and own your own island. Maybe you think you can use as much toxic pesticides on that island as you damn well please. If that's the case, then maybe you're just like Grandpa Jason in this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast, Frogs. But maybe your reign on the island is about to end by frog invasion. Total transparency, I was really hoping for humongous frogs or 10-legged, 2-headed frogs, or even frogs with razor-sharp teeth. But no such luck. We get none of the mutations extravaganzas, instead just a few hundred frogs and some valuable lessons. First, there are always consequences to your actions. And second, don't mess around with Mother Nature. Cheers!
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hey, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different yet highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm feeling hot.
Are you?
I am, aren't you?
Because of the temperature outside, Karen?
Well, you can interpret it however you like.
Okay. All right. It is,
It's warm.
hot and humid.
Yep.
Just the way I like it. Get to go out there and do some thirsty work.
Extra thirsty work. How are you, Greg?
I'm good. Hanging in there.
Well, that's what we like to hear.
Trying to beat the heat. All right, Karen. Whose film was this?
This was mine.
It was your choice.
It was.
What film have you chosen to subject us to this week, Karen?
Well, you got to enjoy the 1972 movie Frogs.
You sound like my mother.
Thanks.
Used to say, do I have to? She said, no, you get to. So I got to enjoy it.
Yes, you did.
I didn't have to. I got to. I was privileged enough. Is there any reason in particular you chose this piece of cinematic brilliance?
Well, it's July, and it features the 4th of July. Takes place on the eve of 4th of July, being July 3rd, for those of you who can't do math, and the 4th of July.
It does.
That's the only reason.
It coincides much better with your 4th of July theme than your last film, Silver Bullet. So kudos to you for that, Karen.
Thanks, I try.
Do we have a cocktail, Karen?
We do. It's a fancy one.
Is it?
It is.
Go on.
It's called the Fancy Frog Cocktail.
And what are we going to need for that, Karen?
You're going to need 1.5 ounces of vodka, 1/2 ounce of orange liqueur, 1/3 ounce of simple syrup, 1/3 ounce of bitters, and some ice.
And how do we make it?
You fill a glass with ice to chill.
Yes.
Add ice to a shaker. Add all ingredients to the shaker and shake well. Strain into a glass over ice. And rather than enjoy, this one says tasty.
Yes, it does. Yes,
And it is tasty. I like it.
It is, but I don't know why it's called Fancy Frog.
Well, we
Not
don't
like
know
it's
why any of
green
them.
or anything.
No, it's not. And I used way less bitters because I don't like bitters. So I just
It was
put
only
in.
10 milliliters, Karen.
I know.
You can taste it, though.
You can.
I can taste it for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I get is orange and bitters.
Which is a
I
good
don't hate.
combination. Yeah, it's a good combination, but I like the sweetness a little more than the bitters.
All right. Should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own fancy frog, fancy cocktail?
Maybe it's called the Fancy Frog because you can enjoy it near water. Doesn't it seem like you should be next to the pool or something?
Yeah, probably. It's definitely a summertime drink, I would say.
Go get your frog on, people.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, are you ready to get into it? This film from 1972.
Absolutely.
Might you have a brief synopsis for us?
Of course I do.
I can always count on you. Go on.
Yes, you can.
Tell me a story.
Frogs. Unsurprisingly, grumpy Southern chemical baron Jason Crockett is not terribly concerned with the environment. When Pickett Smith, a wildlife photographer in the area, stumbles upon the snake-bitten corpse of Crockett's gardener, who was sent out to spray pesticides, he knows something is amiss. Smith attempts to warn Crockett and his family to postpone their 4th of July celebrations as local animals begin behaving strangely. But Crockett stubbornly refuses.
Thank you, Karen, for that accurate synopsis, I would say.
Sort of, yeah.
Have you seen this film before, Karen?
I have not. Have you?
I did many, many years ago. I really didn't remember much about it.
No.
No. I remember I had seen it, mainly from the trailer, I believe.
Well, aren't you lucky to have gotten to rewatch it then?
Yeah, it was on like late night TV
I can see that.
back in the 80s, I believe. Where did you watch this film, Karen?
I did watch it on Amazon.
You did?
I did. Where did you watch it?
Amazon Prime. No warnings or anything, just rated PG. All right, Frogs from 1972, rated PG. We have credits. While the credits are rolling, we see a man taking pictures in the swamp. And I wrote Pickett ? Because I knew Pickett with Sam Elliott, but I didn't recognize him at first.
I didn't recognize him either. I just said, oh, handsome.
Yeah, once you get a good look at him and he starts talking, it's obvious that it's a very young Sam Elliott. No beard, no mustache, and he's tan and chiseled, Karen.
He's not gray either. Yeah. Like I said, handsome.
And he's taking pictures of the animals there in the swamp, Karen.
He's got an old-timey camera where he has to press the button and wind the film.
And he also takes pictures of pollution.
Yes.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
Both animals and pollution. And then there starts to be some dead animals in the water because of the pollution.
5 minutes later, Karen.
Yes, it was a long intro.
5 minutes of credits. We see a man and a woman in a speedboat who we learn are Clint and Karen, brother and sister. Crockett is their last name. Clint's drinking a Budweiser, and they're driving their speedboat rather quickly there on the lake, it appears.
I said recklessly, yes.
They see Pickett, or Clint sees Pickett, and he drives over there and creates a wake, tipping him over in his canoe.
They do this thing where they cut to the boat, cut to the canoe, cut to the boat, cut to the canoe. So you know what's going to happen. And he does flip the canoe over. And all I thought was, oh, the camera.
I know.
Like, that's ruined.
But Clint pulls over and puts his hand out to, pull Pickett into their boat. But
they do go back to get him, which is the right thing to do. They didn't leave him there.
But Pickett pulls Clint into the water.
Yeah, he's not happy.
So they all get back on the boat and they do introductions and shit, right?
And Clint does say he'll replace all his stuff.
He does. Just tell him how much it is, what it was, and he'll replace it. But
right.
Pickett asks, do you have diving gear? Like, he wants to go diving for his camera, right?
He might be able to dry it out, but I doubt it.
Well, what about the film, though? Is the film still good?
Not if it got wet.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I thought the film might be good.
If it was all rolled up into the little...
Yeah, it's been exposed, right, already, so...
Yeah, but when you turn it, like when you take the picture, you advance it, then you had to... Because then it goes onto a spool. Then you had to wind it all back into the film canister.
That's true.
So if he had done that, maybe some of it, depending on how quickly he got down there, like maybe the edges or wouldn't have. But if he didn't wind it back. But you're going to
soak the film in like liquid anyway to develop it, right?
Yeah, but that has chemicals in it.
So
it's
I think got water in it, doesn't it?
I think it would have washed off the reactive stuff on the film.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Karen. I was curious and I knew you would know.
Well, I don't know 100%. I've never dropped my camera in a lake. Thank God. Knock on wood. Listen to our wicked ramblings on superstitions. But I would think that it would be ruined if he hadn't rolled it back, which he wasn't because he was still taking pictures when he got bowled over.
Clint and Karen invite Pickett to stay at the estate for a while, for lunch at least, right? They always have a big 4th of July thing, I guess. And they did say that the evening is very family oriented, but until then, it's very casual and he's welcome to stay.
Like a picnic, they say.
Yes. Clint seems very competitive.
Doesn't he?
Yes. He wants to know if he knows how to play badminton or tennis or ping pong or whatever. He's looking for a challenge, I think, Karen. So they go to the estate there, which apparently is on an island in the middle of the lake, in the middle of the swamp. And there's lots of frogs and lots of froggy fog too, Karen.
I know. I was laughing that I said froggy's fog is everywhere, which was apropos because we're talking about frogs. But there are frogs all over the lawn. But we should say when they cut to these frogs, it's kind of like stock footage. A lot of the stuff is not filmed in the same area where the island is. I mean, some of the shots, yes, but a lot of the shots, especially
How could you tell that?
Because it wasn't the same kind of environment. One of the snakes looks like it's in a aquarium or something.
Okay.
You can tell by the background. They just are using stock footage of frogs and a lot of the same footage over and over.
Okay. But Clint and Karen introduce Pickett to Grandpa Jason.
Karen does.
Jason tells Pickett he was trespassing on private property, taking his pictures. Didn't he see the signs? I guess part of the lake is private property. And here's where I wrote, Karen, what is Karen wearing?
I don't know.
At first I thought it was a swimming suit, but then I'm thinking, no, that looks like a knit something.
It
like
might be a romper
swimsuit, but
yeah, because that's
you
what
could see
I
her
said
panty
too.
lines, so she was wearing underwear.
I said it's like a polo shirt on top and then shorty shorts on the bottom. But I think what it is
But it's all one piece.
Yeah, I think it's a romper. So and it's yellow, but she looked like she got wet somehow, but I guess not. But yeah,
romper.
It's a polo shirt on top connected to short shorts. Remember that Nair commercial, Who Wears Short Shorts? Those are the kind of shorts that they are.
Like romper room, Karen, right?
Well, no, but
okay, I'll look it up later. Romper.
That's what I'm going to guess.
Okay. Then Karen introduces Pickett to the rest of the clan there, Karen. The Crockett clan.
He does tell Grandpa, who's what I call the old guy. Do you call him Jason or
Jason.
Grandpa?
I call him Grandpa or Grandpa Jason or Jason.
And I called Smith Pickett. I called him Smith. He explains he's a freelance photographer. He's doing a pollution layout for an ecology magazine. And one of the cousins asks if he's taken any pictures of frogs.
So Clinton is upstairs getting dressed.
Yes.
Karen comes in and introduces Pickett to the rest of the family.
Aunt Iris, who collects butterflies, her cousin Kenneth and his girlfriend Bella. And then where did he meet Jenny? Outside? Clint's wife.
Inside, just as they walked in.
Just as they walked in. So, yeah. Then Karen tells Pickett that Clint and Jenny's bedroom is on the second door on the right upstairs because they're going to get him some dry clothes.
And we've already met Stuart, right, who was outside, who was Iris's husband.
Yes.
And they have a son named Michael who is also outside. And he's more of a grown.
Yes, he's
in his 20s or something, right?
He's the one who asked about frogs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Because apparently the place is overrun with frogs and they've been talking about it.
We see Pickett up in Clint's room and we learn that Clint was a football star back in high school, Karen.
I said it looks like Clint peaked in high school.
Glory days.
Yep. Then he talks about Jenny and shows him her high school picture and it said she looks like she peaked in high school too. And Pickett says she's pretty and Clint says she was in high school, which I thought was kind of rude.
She still looks pretty good. She got a few bags under her eyes now, but she still
That's
looks
what he
pretty.
says, but I thought she was pretty.
Then we see Kenneth taking pictures of his model girlfriend, Bella, who is an African-American lady. And Kenneth is white, so that was interracial couple, 1972. That was probably somewhat groundbreaking.
A little, but they do mention it. They make a point of it that it's going to bother the grandfather, but he doesn't.
But
the
they
grandfather
didn't come right out and say it, though.
No, they didn't. But
beat around the bush a little bit.
They implied it, but they said the grandfather will never admit that it bothers him.
And we learned that it is the 4th of July, and no one ever brings guests. So that's kind of how they beat around that. It bothers grandpa or whatever. Outside on the compound there, I'm going to call it, Jason is upset that the children are not there on time for lunch. They are 12 minutes late, Karen. Where are those children? Jenny, where are your
We-
children?
Well, because of course it's her responsibility. Because so grandpa's mad. Where are the children? Clint asks Jenny where the kids are. Because of course it's her job, not his, to watch the kids.
Yeah.
We should mention that Jason, the grandfather, is in a wheelchair.
He is.
And he's 100% the guy who would tell kids to get off his lawn. So that's kind of his personality. He's very much of a stickler. Everything has to go on time. The kids are 12 minutes late. He's losing his shit.
But he also seems like the kind of guy who would reward loyalty, right?
His definition of loyalty, yes. And punish what he would consider disloyalty.
So the kids come running in, Tina and Jay has found a frog. And it's a big one.
It is a big one.
And they discuss the problem with the frogs there.
So, Greg, before you go any further,
Yes, Karen.
do you want to know what the world's largest frog is and how big it is?
The world's largest frog. I would love to.
Well, frogs vary widely in size and weight depending on species. This might not be the world's largest frog, but this is their example. The West African Goliath frog can grow to 15 inches and weigh as much as 7 pounds. The smallest, or the small end of the scale, the Cuban tree frog, grows to only half an inch and weighs approximately 2 ounces.
Yeah, I was going to guess 5 pounds.
It would have been pretty close. How many species of frogs do you think there are worldwide, Greg?
10,020.
Little high.
Oh, I'm a little high.
6,000.
Those were the days.
And this is funny, because we always differentiated when we were kids between toads and frogs.
Mm-hmm.
But toads are frogs. It's just a word used for frogs that have warty and dry skin, as well as shorter hind legs. But we were adamant.
Mm-hmm.
We would correct each other with the difference between a toad and a frog. But toads are frogs.
But the family complains that the frogs keep them up at night with their croaking. And Jason asks Pickett, since he is an ecology expert, to take a walk around the grounds and assess the situation. So it seems like Jason likes Pickett for some reason.
Yeah. Yes.
I think he just thinks he's a good person, a good dude, a reliable person.
I don't know, for whatever reason. Because Smith says sometimes they'll have a summer like this where they overpopulate and then they die the next year. So that's when the grandfather, Jason, thinks he knows a lot about it. Says, go take a look around, figure out what the hell's going on. Which is true. There are times like we have the cicadas and all of that stuff. And when the cicadas are around, there's an abundant food supply for, say, moles. And then moles overpopulate because there's a lot of food. And then the next year, there's not a lot of food because the cicadas are gone. So it's an ecology thing of supply and demand.
The circle of life, Karen.
Yep.
As Pickett is leaving to take a look around, Jason asks him to take the north road and look for a man he sent out there to spray insecticide. He's been out there since morning. He hasn't come back. Jason believes he is with a woman from across the lake.
Yeah. And if he finds him, tell him to get his ass back. It's basically what Jason says.
So we see Pickett walking around the island there, and he finds dead frogs and other creatures, along with a spray tank of poison, Karen. Then he finds a Jeep and a man face down in the swamp covered in snakes.
He's found Grover.
He gone, even though he's breathing.
Yes, he is. He's breathing.
And Pickett takes the Jeep and drives back. He just leaves him there, laying in the swamp.
Yeah, I thought, well, I think he moved him out of the puddle he was face down in, but he didn't bring him back. I don't know where he put him.
Nope. And then we cut into the house there, and Bella, the model, is making a connection with Maybelle, the maid, housekeeper.
Yeah,
whatever.
She's kind of she's just the cook, the maid, the housekeeper.
Bella gives her a drink. At first, she doesn't want to take it, but she does. And they have a moment, and Bella tells her that her full name is Maybelle as well.
Because she was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi.
Next, we cut to the family having before dinner drinks. And they're discussing the pollution controls that they are being forced to put into place at their paper manufacturing plant, Karen.
Yes, Iris is not happy about it.
Damn government and their damn pollution controls. Our stockholders are not going to be happy. They're not going to get their dividends, Karen.
Yes, it's going to cut into the dividends.
I hate when that happens. Pickett arrives. First thing he does is go to the phone, and it's dead.
It was dead earlier, too. When they first arrived, when he was still in his wet clothes, he tried to call out, and it was dead.
He did.
And he's wearing, do they call it the Canadian suit?
Yes, they do, Karen.
The denim shirt and the denim pants.
He wears them very well.
Yes, he does.
So myself.
Why do you think I'm mentioning it?
And cowboy boots, Karen. Did you see the cowboy boots? And we see Maybelle getting dinner ready. And we pan up and see a snake hanging from the chandelier. I don't like snakes, Karen.
They're okay.
So Pickett asks Jason if he can talk to him alone, and he tells him that he found the body of Grover, right?
Yes.
Jason tells Pickett that they've been gathering for the 4th of July for as long as he can remember. The family shares 4 birthdays in July, and they celebrate it all at once. He ain't going to let nothing upset this family tradition, Karen. Then frogs begin knocking on the window.
He does tell Pickett that 15 years ago is when he lost the use of his legs.
He does move them from time to time, though, under his blanket. Then we hear a scream, apparently coming from the dining room. They all run in and see the snake hanging from the chandelier. Jason pulls out his revolver and shoots it.
He has conveniently with him. Right in the dining room, just shoots it. So he's got good aim.
Does.
It's not a big snake. It's a smaller garden-sized snake, I would say. I mean, it's not like a boa constrictor or anything like that. It's just a garden snake. So he's got good aim if he can hit that on a chandelier when it's all curled up.
He tells George, I think it's George, right? The butler.
I said the butler. Charles,
to get rid of it. And he said, "What are y'all standing around for? Let's eat."
You would think there would be snake guts on the table, but...
You would think. Snake blood splattered on the wall.
I'm not sure I could eat right after someone shot a snake off.
I hope it was a small caliber revolver. I couldn't really tell, because if it wasn't, it was going to go right through that snake and into the wall or whatever was.
Well, that's what, yes, that's what I assumed.
So could have been a 22 or something. So then Jason and Pickett have a conversation about all the animals. Pickett asks, what if nature is trying to get back at us?
Well, he says, what's going on? Frogs don't attack windows and snakes aren't in chandeliers. And Jason says there's nothing to worry about. He's going to get rid of all of it. He's going to get the state to approve it and get pesticides. Get rid of them all. And Pickett says, sure, you'll kill them then, but you'll kill a lot of other things too. Grandpa doesn't care because Grandpa believes that man is the master of the world. And then that's when Pickett says, well, what if nature is trying to get back at us? And Grandpa Jason scoffs.
As you do. Then we cut to, I guess it's later that evening, and Clint and Jenny are having a disagreement. She's brushing her hair, getting ready for bed, Karen, as all women do. They sit in front of the mirror and brush their hair to get ready for bed.
Yeah, I'm surprised she wasn't putting on hand lotion, because they always do that too.
Putting on a green face.
Yes, with their cucumbers. Well, that's what I do. How do you think? I don't wake up looking like this.
Jenny doesn't like having to put up with Jason, and Clint is never around. She's got to watch the kids, and Clint's always out there on the boat drinking his Budweisers.
Well, she's complaining because all she does is babysit. They are her kids, but she has to make sure they don't annoy their grandpa. But they always annoy their grandpa. So she's always in trouble because the kids are doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and he's not helping her, which is a legitimate complaint. I'm just going to say that because he's out drinking on the lake. And I'm sure she would rather be out drinking on the lake once in a while, too.
But Clint says when the grandfather dies, he stands to inherit $1 million or more, Karen. all they have to do is wait and play their cards right.
So just shut your mouth. He kind of manhandles her a little bit. He's not a nice guy. I mean, she's complaining all the time. So there is that dynamic, but they're not nice people.
Pickett sitting outside enjoying nature.
They do, in between a lot of these shots, they show us more frogs.
Well, between every shot, Karen, there's frogs.
There's always frogs.
There must be a million frogs in this film. But we see Pickett sitting outside enjoying nature. Karen comes up and they have a little talk. And Karen wants to know what's going on because she doesn't know about Grover or anything going on. And I wrote, I think Karen likes Pickett, Karen.
Well, they talk. Do you always work outside? Yeah, I like to work outside. You know, he likes being freelance. He's on his own time. Nobody's the boss of him. You know, they're just talking. But yeah.
You like wearing jeans, jean shirts. You like to keep a couple buttons unbuttoned.
Did you like my romper? Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Next morning, Karen.
More shots of frogs.
Yeah, and then the children come up and wish Grandpa Jason a happy birthday and a happy 4th of July.
Yeah, Grandpa's leveled up.
Jenny comes along and I think she's complaining about something, isn't she?
She's looking for Clint.
That's right. But Jason says, Jenny, how would you like to help with the decorations? And she's happy. I think it's the first time she's ever been asked to do anything like that.
I know. Well, Grandpa Jason says, it's not quite like it was in college, huh? And then Jenny says, well, unfortunately, it's exactly like it was in college. That's the problem. So then he sends her off to help with the decorations. And you're right. She is excited to do that because I guess no one pays any attention to her. So now she has a job. And then there's more frogs.
And we see the children lighting off firecrackers.
As you do.
And at first I thought they were going to blow up a frog, but
so did I. And I thought all hell was going to break loose because
that's what I would have done, Karen.
We used to set off firecrackers and shoot each other with bottle rockets.
Then we're at the breakfast table inside the mansion there, and Karen and Pickett have another moment.
Yes, she says, I nearly came to your room last night.
And he says, well, why didn't you?
And she said, the floorboards creak too much.
Then he says, well, I'm very sorry that Grandpa Jason Crockett doesn't have satisfactory floorboards.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yeah, so they're flirting. So we're outside and the family's preparing for the 4th of July now.
Yeah, apparently I play games a lot. And again, Clint seems to be very competitive.
Yes.
Apparently they play a game called King of the Log, Karen. Never played that game.
No.
Where two combatants have a pillow and they do a pillow fight on a log trying to knock each other off.
Yeah, girls only do that at sleepovers. And then the feathers fly everywhere.
Yeah, duh.
We didn't know that men did that too.
That's more king of the bed though, because you're bouncing on the bed, hitting each other with pillows.
And the feathers fly, in your pajamas.
Yeah, as you do.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's having a pillow fight on a log. And he knocks Michael down. Michael's getting ready for croquet. He's setting up a croquet course. And Clint knocks him off the log multiple times. And Stuart's pissed. He's like, take him down. I want to see him on his ass.
So then Clint tries to get Bella to play, but she ain't interested either.
Bella comes out. She looks really beautiful, I thought. And Clint flirts with her right in front of his wife. And Bella just brushes him off. She says she's too sophisticated for him.
And here I wrote they're listening to like patriotic music on a record, but the needle is not touching the vinyl, Karen. And it's kind of an old-time record player, too.
It is.
So then Jason sends Michael in the Jeep to see if he can find any down telephone lines because the phone is still dead.
Yeah, because Pickett comes out and Clint immediately challenges him to some games. But Jason won't let him play. He says he needs to talk to him. And Smith says, well, I'll go check out the island and check for the down phone line. But Jason doesn't let him do that. He sends Michael.
And Jason and Pickett have another conversation about all the pesticides Jason has been using on the island.
When Michael leaves, he does take a shotgun.
He does. And I think we see Pickett walking the island some more.
Yeah, I think he's out looking, but Michael's in the Jeep.
Lots of amphibious creatures, I wrote. We see Michael checking the telephone lines. He takes out a shotgun, Karen, and shoots a couple of birds, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that. When Pickett's walking, he does approach. Is that where he comes to the rattlesnake, or is that later?
Yep.
There's no fangs in it. Did you see that?
Yeah. Or it wasn't bearing them.
Yeah, but it had its rattle and it
did.
It arched up, but there weren't fangs in it. But yeah, Michael's looking for down lines. I thought he saw something on the lines, but no, he just shoots some birds.
That's what I thought too. I thought he was trying to shoot something off the line. Then he runs through the woods, and apparently he shoots himself in the leg as he's running, Karen.
Is that what happened? I couldn't tell. He tripped
I guess.
And shot himself in the leg.
And then the Spanish moss and tarantulas fall on him, and it appears the moss is wrapping around him and tying him up.
I think it's the spiders making a web around the moss.
And then he gone.
So did you know that Spanish moss isn't actually Spanish and it's not moss?
I believe I did know that, Karen. That sounds very familiar. Seems like driving through Florida as a wee lad. I asked my mom, what is that stuff hanging from the trees? I believe she informed me all about it.
Well, she probably said it's the same plant family as pineapples and succulent houseplants. It's native to Mexico, Central America, South America, the United States, and the Caribbean. Here in the U.S., Spanish moss grows from Texas to Virginia, generally staying in the moister areas of the South. But you're right, it is in Florida. It grows in most of the mid-Atlantic and southeastern states from the coast of Virginia to Florida and west to southern Arkansas and Texas.
That sounds like something my mom would say.
Doesn't it? I am just channeling your mom today.
And apparently the tarantulas put him in a cocoon, Karen.
Yes, they do.
Much like they did way back in February when we talked about Kingdom of Spiders, or March.
I think it was March, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been March. Because it was William Shatner's birthday. That's March.
Yes. And they were biting him, and he was acting like it was very painful and poisonous. But as we talked about then, tarantulas' bites are not that poisonous.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them on him, I think.
There are. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We appreciate you spending time with us. You know, you can help us grow our audience by following us on social media at Scary Spirits Podcast. Just look for us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And don't forget to tell all your friends to find us too. Now let's get back to the show.
Then we see Iris looking for butterflies. She tells Kenneth to go to the greenhouse to collect flowers for the centerpiece.
Yes, and she saw a particularly interesting butterfly, so she runs off to catch it instead of going to get flowers.
So Kenneth goes to the greenhouse, and bunches of lizards enter the greenhouse as well, Karen.
Yes, they do. All kinds, all shapes and sizes.
And Jason begins to get upset because, God damn it, it's time for the games to start, and not everyone is here ready. What the hell is going on here, Karen? And Pickett tries the phone again. It's still dead.
Jenny says, how can we start? Not everybody's here. Iris is chasing butterflies. Michael's out looking for the line. And Kenneth is in the greenhouse choosing flowers. So he sends Karen to look for Kenneth. And Iris's husband, Stuart, to look for her. And in the meantime, Clint is flirting with Bella on the croquet course. And Jenny's pissed. So there's the dynamic that's going on right now. And yes, Pickett goes in the house to check on the phone again.
And it's still dead.
Yep.
Got back to the greenhouse. Lizards begin knocking growlers of poison off the shelves, Karen.
Yes, they do.
And they form a toxic fog.
Yes, they start knocking them off in the right order so that they can combine and make a very bad poison.
All you need is two, like ammonia and bleach is all you need. Mix that
I know.
together. You go.
Oh, yeah. But there's a lot. They knock off a lot, 4 or 5 of them.
But Kenneth becomes asphyxiated, Karen.
Yes, he does.
He gone.
It's interesting that this poison doesn't kill any of the lizards. It's specific for Kenneth.
True.
Because no one else is affected either. Because the lizards closed the door behind Kenneth when he walked into the greenhouse. So he's in an enclosed space.
The family begins to become worried, Karen. Something is wrong. Jason tells them all to be quiet.
Even the dog who's
Colonel.
there, who's an Irish setter.
It is an Irish setter.
How smart do you think Irish setters are?
That.
How smart
I think
do you
Irish setters are very smart. The only one I've known a couple and they were very smart.
Out of the top 100, what would you guess?
I'm gonna say they're. Are they top 10, Karen?
No.
Okay, then I'm gonna say they're top 20, right?
No.
Well, then my whole image of Irish setters is totally blown.
Well, this could be a completely random thing I found. Who's to say where it even comes from? But
I'd say they're 25.
They're 35. But they are known as intelligent hunting dogs. But they were popular for a while, and there was a lot of inbreeding, and that always is a problem. So as in all dogs, there is a wide range, but they did a lot of inbreeding for a while, and dogs lose intelligence when you do that, unfortunately. But they're beautiful dogs. I always wanted one when I was little. I saw somebody walking one in our neighborhood once, and I just thought it was the most beautiful dog I'd ever seen. But you got to brush it all later as an adult. When I like the wash and wear dogs. I don't like the high maintenance. I can't do it. So I know myself. So I didn't get one. I admire them from afar.
Jason says celebration's going on as planned, just like it always has.
Nothing's going to stop it. Cut to some more frogs croaking.
And then Pickett finds Kenneth in the greenhouse. Bella comes in behind him and acts badly, I wrote.
She does. And also Kenneth, who is supposedly dead, moves his eyebrows. And he's covered in tiny lizards.
And then Bella comes running to the others, screaming that Kenneth is dead.
Multiple times over and over.
Then Pickett explains what happened.
Bottles of poison broken in all over the greenhouse.
Pickett asks for Clint's help, but Clint seems to ignore him and go inside the house. So Charles the butler steps up and tells Pickett he will help him any way he can. And then the frogs begin to fall on top of the 4th of July American flag cake, Karen.
Yes. So they all go inside, and as they do, the frogs advance.
Pickett and Charles go to the greenhouse and carry Kenneth out. Cut to Iris looking for butterflies. And I wrote she's not very good because she keeps walking past them, and they're not really moving a lot. They're very stationary butterflies.
Yes, they are, but they're very pretty. But she keeps passing right by them.
And we see Stuart looking for her. Then Iris happens upon a rattlesnake, and suddenly she is surrounded by snakes, and she tries to make her way through the brush.
Which she does poorly. She reminds me of the ant from Bewitched. Remember the one that always messed up the spells and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That's who she reminds me of.
And she falls in the swamp and ends up covered in leeches.
See, that bothered me way more than any other animal in here, because we used to get those on us when we would wade through the creeks and stuff. And every once in a while, you'd come out and you had leeches on your ankles.
I never had leeches on my ankles, and I spent a lot of time in the creek, Karen.
Well, we did, and it's gross. I'd pull them off my brother's backs, and they're slimy and gross, and those sucker mouths. Ugh. This gave me the willies. I did not like the leech scene.
She gets out and pulls the leeches off of her and runs through the swamp. And she gets bit by another rattlesnake. She gone.
Instantly,
Karen.
That rattlesnake poison, bam, she's gone.
Is that how it works, Dr. Karen?
I don't think so, but I mean, she's white dead, like
I know.
pale dead in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
No, I
And we
think you have
see-
a little more time.
I would think you'd have at least enough time to make a incision in the bite and suck the venom out, because that's what you're supposed to do.
I don't think you're supposed to do that, but
Yeah, you make a cut.
but all
an
those
X
people
and
that
suck the
have
venom
those
out.
the religious people that work with the rattlesnakes, you
Mhm.
have enough time to get the anti-venom.
Yeah, and you
So-
get bit enough time, you build up an immunity.
But man, she was gone immediately.
Maybe she had a special allergy, Karen.
Possibly. You wouldn't know
Nope.
that you were allergic to rattlesnake venom.
Stuart's still looking for her, and he walks right past her,
Yep.
and he is followed by an alligator, Karen.
Yes, he is.
Then the gator forces Stuart into the swamp.
So it chases him, right? So how
They
fast
back
do you
him
think
into the swamp.
how fast you think an alligator can run on land in miles per hour?
I'm gonna say 4 miles per hour.
Okay, when we go to the alligator park, I'm walking next to you. Because if you think the alligator can only go 4 miles per hour,
Well, first I was gonna say 7, but I thought that was high.
35 miles per hour on land.
Really?
They don't last long.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can't run an hour.
No. So if you can outrun them for a short distance, you're good. 20 miles per hour when they're swimming. But if I knock you down,
Mm-hmm.
you're toast.
Yeah, that's right. You just have to be faster than your partner, right?
Yes, exactly.
But the alligators attack Stuart. Stuart and the alligator wrestle around. And then all of a
they
sudden,
wrestle for a while.
Mhm. And then suddenly there's red paint all over Stuart. And
Yep.
he gone.
He was wrestling well. It was like a mud wrestle with an alligator. He was covered in mud.
Yeah, this is
You
pretty
know.
good sequence here, I thought.
And
Pretty
he
good
thought-
stunt man there.
He was doing a good job. And then
Probably a professional alligator wrestler.
all of a sudden he's just gone.
Back at the house, Karen thinks they should leave. Jason says he will not let anything interfere with the day's schedule. I kind of like Jason.
Is he your spirit animal?
Kind of, sort of. It's a little OCD, I think.
He's just a power hungry dictator. He wants all the power. Nobody does anything except when he says to do it. And he says, just because one death that was an accident, why do we need to panic?
And then Pickett steps in and says, well, it's 2 deaths.
Yes.
Grover's dead. Pickett tells them they need to all pull together to get through this.
Bella
first-
agrees with him.
We need to look for Stuart and Iris, but even if we don't find them, we got to get off of this island.
He says he doesn't think they'll find him. So, and then they're going to leave anyway. So they don't even go look for him at all.
Jason forbids it.
Yes, he does.
He says he controls these people. And Bella says, no, you don't control me.
Nobody
Snap, snap.
controls me. Yeah. And she and the butler and the maid are ready to go.
Yeah, they all decide to leave. Jason tells them to get the hell out then.
Yeah. And he gives a big talk about loyalty, right?
Tells Clint to take him across the lake and dump him off.
Yep.
So Clint tells him, yeah, we'll be leaving in 5 minutes. Please be ready. Thank you. So Clint takes him across the lake and leaves him there at a dock. It seems deserted, Karen.
Yeah. He gets out of the boat too.
He does.
He might know the owner. It's like a bait shop.
Yep.
And I think he knows the owner and he's looking for him, but nobody's
Jesse,
there.
I believe he says.
His fishing pole is there and there's burgers cooking
Tackle
on
box. Yep.
burgers cooking on the grill with beers, but nobody's there.
Hot dogs and Budweiser. Nobody's sitting in the lawn chairs.
Oh, I thought it was burgers. Was it hot dogs?
I think so. Everything's deserted. Then birds fly around them and they run, meaning Bella, Mabel,
And Charles.
and Charles. Maybelle and Charles, yeah. Got back to the house. Pickett begins loading guns, Karen.
Grandpa wants to eat.
He wants an old fashioned first, though.
Well, he wants the original menu, even though Maybelle's gone. He's like, I want the original menu. Karen, take care of it.
I'll start with an old fashioned.
Yes, a double, I think he says.
But Jenny goes upstairs and grabs some binoculars to look for Clint because he should be back by now. Where's Clint? And we see Clint at the dock. He gets back in the boat, but the keys are missing, Karen.
No, he goes to his boat and the line's been cut. The boat's out in the middle of the lake because a lizard chewed the rope and his boat floated away. So he runs around to get Jesse's boat.
Okay.
But when he gets in Jesse's boat, there's no keys.
Okay.
So then he comes back to the dock to look for his boat and he decides that he has to go for it.
Yeah, he's going to swim. Yeah, I thought he was swimming for the island, but no, he's trying to swim to his boat.
Yes.
Got it. And it looks like he's pulled under by something at one point.
Yes, but he gets back up.
Yeah, but Jenny sees it, so she runs down to the lake. Clint makes it to his boat. Then it appears a snake bites him on the hand and he sinks.
Yes, I think they're water snakes that take him down.
Water moccasins, Karen.
Yes.
Then Jenny walks out into the lake.
Well, these are potent snakes. One bite and you are gone. Just like that. One bite. But yeah, Jenny goes down to the lake, starts screaming, Clint, Clint.
She starts to walk out there and her feet get stuck in the mud as a large snapping turtle approaches her, Karen.
A very large snapping turtle does.
Back at the house, the frogs are surrounding the house.
Looks like the plague.
Pickett asks Jason if he has any gasoline. We have any gasoline, Jason? Pickett tells him in the tool shed. So Pickett runs to the tool shed to get the gas. When he comes back to the house, the frogs have all left the porch and are hopping away.
Yeah, they see him with the gasoline and they're leaving.
Children begin to wonder where their parents are, Karen. The little girl, Tina, runs outside yelling, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. Pickett and Karen run out there after her, and they see the boat on the lake with no one in it. Just sitting out in the middle of the lake. Pickett says, That's it. We're leaving. Jason says, The Crocketts are staying. Jason tells them they are either with him or against him, but they all decide to leave, leaving Jason alone.
Well, Karen says we can't. She's trying to reason with him. Grandpa, you know I can't leave the kids here. I have to take the kids. But he's having none of it. He thought she had the Crockett strength and guts, but I guess you don't. So just leave. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. You're either with me or against me. And he's going to bed and he's going to sleep like a baby. And then Smith asks for the shotgun, takes it, and they all leave Grandpa.
Well, Jason says, yeah, you can go ahead and take whichever one you want, but don't bring it back. That means I don't want to see you again. Take it and get the hell out of here.
And basically, Grandpa has a pity party. His birthday sucks. He's sad.
So Karen and the children try to say goodbye to Grandpa, but he ignores them.
Yep.
I said good day.
Yes.
You are dead to me. Good day. Pickett, Karen, and the kids run to the lake. Pickett and Karen find Jenny face down in the lake covered with crabs, Karen.
And the turtle's still there eating her.
Pickett puts the canoe in the lake and they all get in. Pickett begins rowing, but they hit a snag and are stuck. Pickett takes off his jean shirt and gets in the water.
Yeah. You got to take your shirt off.
He tries to free them. Yeah, but his pants are what gets wet.
I know. I said the same thing, but I wasn't complaining.
And a snake falls on top of him from a tree, Karen. He knocks it off of himself, and then he beats a few more of them with his oar.
Yes. And I'm wondering how he's going to get back in the canoe without tipping it over.
But he frees the canoe and hops back in it.
Very gracefully.
He knows his way around the canoe, Karen. Apparently.
Yes, he does.
Then he shoots an alligator, just for good measure along the way, too.
Yeah.
And then they reach the dock. And here I wrote, I had striped pants and white shoes just like that little boy. I was going to ask her, did you have the same haircut as Tina?
Probably, but I said striped pants. I had a pair of those. We all did.
And the white shoes, the white patent leather shoes?
No. I did not have those, but my oldest brother had a pair of striped pants and we all wore those pants. There are pictures of all of us in those pants.
Ah, those were the days, Karen.
Back when striped pants and plaid shirts were in
And white
style.
shoes, patent leather shoes. So they reach the dock on the other side of the lake. It seems deserted still. And then they find the luggage, very strewn askew, Karen, of
About the
George,
lawn.
May, Belle,
Yes.
and Bella.
That can't be good.
Nope. Pickett flags down a woman and her son driving a station wagon, and they all hop in.
Now, I have a question.
Yep.
Pickett flags the lady down. She stops very nicely. Can we have a lift? Sure, you can. Okay, everybody. He's got a fucking shotgun. Now she just lets them all pile in. She doesn't know these people. I don't think I'd want.
He didn't have it with him when he asked her.
No, but then when they get in, he's got a shotgun. She doesn't say anything about it. I don't think I'd pick up people and let them in if they had a shotgun in my car.
Yeah.
Especially with no explanation. She doesn't ask anything. She doesn't know anything. She just lets him in with the shotgun. I just thought that was pretty funny. Everybody's okay with this.
Yeah, she does ask what happened. He said it's a long story.
Yeah, but excuse me, sir, you have to put the shot, give me the bullet, something, so he can't blow my fucking head off. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. Nobody cares.
So the woman comments that she and her son have been on the road for 3 hours and haven't seen a soul. Seems odd, especially on the 4th of July, Karen. Then the boy shows the other kids the huge bullfrog he found at camp. Got back to the house. Frogs have made it into the house, Karen.
So you know what pissed me off about this?
What?
They left the dog behind.
Dogs seem fine.
How's the dog gonna survive without
It's gonna eat them damn frogs.
I guess so. It just pissed me off that they left the dog behind.
But the dog seems nervous, as well as Jason, too. And Jason drinks some, I wrote whiskey, or it could be brandy. I don't know.
Another drink.
And begins staring at the taxidermy hanging in his study. The phone rings. Holy crap, the phone's working, Karen.
I know. Immediately the phone works.
Jason picks up, but no one answers. There's no one there, and then line goes dead. Jason is surrounded by frogs. He gets up from his wheelchair, and he falls, Karen.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that. Why didn't he get in the elevator and go upstairs? That's what he told Pickett. I can handle myself. I can go up the elevator. I can get myself in bed.
Frogs begin jumping on him, and apparently he has a heart attack.
Yes.
He go. Then the lights go out in the mansion. Credits. Did you watch the credits, Karen?
I did. I saw the end.
A cartoon frog hops across the screen with a hand in its mouth. Now, the credits at the end were only like less than a minute.
Yeah.
Credits at the beginning were 5 minutes. The end. All right, Karen. What were you pleasantly surprised by or really enjoy in this film?
Besides Sam Elliott? Because I did enjoy Sam Elliott.
I kind of like Clint, too, but whatever.
Yeah, but he was an ass. So it wasn't the same. But he was handsome, but he was an ass. I think there was a little originality. I didn't pay full enough attention, but I think everybody was killed by a different set of animals.
They were.
Which I thought, okay. I wasn't sure, but I think it's called frogs because it kind of implied, and I don't know if I'm overthinking this, but every time before someone was killed, they'd show a frog ribbiting, and then the other animals would go and do the dirty work. So did you notice that? Like, were the frogs directing it? Because they did imply that the frogs had intelligence, because when he came back with the gasoline, they all left. So they set up that these frogs are getting smarter, and every time they showed one single frog like ribbiting, and then there would be the death. Again, I'm probably overthinking it, but that's how I took it, that because it's called frogs when other animals are doing some killing too. So I don't know.
I did not notice that, Karen.
No.
But now that you say it, yeah, that is what kind of happened, but I don't know. I'm not buying that the frogs were controlling the other animals.
But beyond that, I didn't, like I said, the originality of a different type of killing every time, that was pretty good for this kind of movie.
Yeah, it wasn't frogs pretty much ever.
Till the end. But
Well,
that's why I was
he had
thinking.
a heart attack.
Yeah, but they scared him. So I think that's why I think the frogs were in charge. That's what I'm going with.
All right.
What about you? Did you like anything or pleasantly surprised? Besides that you saw your future self as Grandpa. Supposed to eat 12 minutes ago. 12 minutes ago, people. I want the original menu.
No, I guess Sam Elliott was good. The animals were good. Once again, Karen, wonderful animal acting. Even the Irish setter, Colonel, was very good. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, it wasn't terrible.
It's another one of those films where I didn't think there was anything exceptional about it, but I didn't think there was anything horrible about it because I kind of expected this.
Yeah.
Disappointing wise, things that I would have preferred is some sort of genetic mutation in the frogs. I know that some of them were bigger, and that's the sequel potential, which I like because the kid had the frog in the car, but they were just frogs. Like there weren't extra teeth. They weren't giant. They weren't nothing except that there were huge, huge numbers of them, which if there's a plague of frogs, they could eat all the grain or something, I guess. I don't know. They're going to cause damage, but they're not as scary.
I thought the guy who played Jason was good actor.
Yeah.
And I like the guy who played Clint. He was a good actor too, Adam Rourke. And he got special featuring in the credits.
I didn't think the acting was terrible. I think the Karen, the sister,
Joan Van Ark
is somewhat famous, right?
Yeah, Joan Van Ark.
So it wasn't terrible. Were you disappointed at anything?
I don't know. Like you said, it's kind of what you expect. And I had seen it before, but I didn't really remember.
It's one of those, like we said, often or once in a while, maybe. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's raining. Sci-Fi Channel's on. This comes on. You watch it. It's entertaining, but it's not good. It's exactly what you expect it to be. It's a 2 a.m. movie that you can't sleep, so it's on. You're entertained, but you're not impressed.
No, but it would keep me up to watch what the hell happens at the end, right?
Well, it's just, it's one of those movies. It's exactly what you expect it to be. It's almost like comfort food. It's like a comfort movie for people who like these sci-fi movies. It's exactly what you expect it to be, with a couple twists and turns, and you're happy.
Okay. What kind of cocktail rating you want to give it, Karen?
It's a 4.
It is a 4.
But it's not a bad 4.
No.
It's what you expect it to be 4.
Average 4.
Yeah.
Would you like to know what a critic of the time said about it, Karen?
Absolutely.
Back in
1972,
the New York Times.
They probably didn't point out the striped pants.
No, they did not. But I will just read part of his review. The writer says, or the reviewer says, it's nature's half-acre gone amok, apparently because of pollution and the somewhat too free use of pesticides authorized by rich old men who live on their own islands in the middle of the Florida Everglades. One by one, the Crockett's are picked off by the frenzied fauna, by tarantulas, as well as by, in at least one case, some Spanish moss. Poor old Jason is finally attacked by frogs, though what exactly they do to him is not clear. Perhaps they thump him to death. Frogs, which is not to be confused with The Birds for an Instant, is an end-of-the-world junk movie photographed rather prettily in Florida and acted by the guy who plays Jason as if he were sight-reading random passages from the dictionary. I thought Jason was better than that, but the rest of it I can't disagree with.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that either. If you made a drinking game for every time you saw croaking frogs, you might be hospitalized.
Or a snake or a lizard. for that matter.
There were a lot less of those. Every other shot was a frog or a toad. Mostly toads, actually, which are frogs, FYI.
All right. What'd you think of your fancy frog cocktail, Karen?
I like it.
Mine has evaporated.
I think it's a good summer drink. Make it and go out by the pool and listen to the frogs in the evening. Although they're out more in the spring, I would guess.
Anything we learned today?
Oh, so much. We learned about different sizes of frogs, Spanish moss, how fast an alligator can run, Irish setters, how many species of frogs there are, which I'm sure is an estimate because they find new frogs all the time, but some go extinct. So,
Did you mention rompers?
oh yes, rompers. That we learned we both had striped pants.
Yeah.
If you want to put that in, that's going to age us.
True. All right, Karen, anything else? Are we ready to move on to the next film?
Well, the next film is your choice. So what have you got?
It is my choice, Karen. But first, I want to ask, you want to take a guess at the death toll?
Oh, do you know it?
How many dead people? I think I might have missed one, but I think I corrected my total here.
7. Am I? Oh, wait, there's the 3 more. Yeah, I'm off. Yeah.
See, I wrote 8 or 11, if you count the 3.
The 3. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, somewhere between 8 and 11. That's what I'm saying. All right, next film, Karen. Is it my choice? Is that what you said?
I did.
Film I have chosen, Karen, is The Twins of Evil.
Wow. Why did you choose that one?
I'm glad you asked, Karen. Our next episode comes out on July 26th. It just so happens that the identical twins, Mary and Madeline Collinson, who star in Twins of Evil, were born on July 22nd. So we are celebrating their birthdays.
Nice.
It is a Hammer film as well, Karen. So that's always good.
Excellent. So there'll be a boob count.
Hopefully.
Do you have a drink to go with this lovely film, Greg?
I do, Karen.
What's that?
The drink I have chosen is called Twin Sisters Cocktail.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Wow. Okay, how do you make that?
Well, we're going to need light rum, spiced rum, hence I think that's the twins thing,
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola or Coke or cola for that matter, I guess, and some Rose's lime juice or regular lime juice.
No, I think Rose's is sweeter.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that sounds good.
Yep. It's a shot, Karen. So don't get all excited.
I was excited and you just ruined it.
Yeah. Half an ounce of light rum, half an ounce of spiced rum, dash of Coke, dash of lime
Dash
juice.
of Coke. All right. I'm sure it'll be delicious.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure I'll make several because, I don't want to waste a can of Coke.
I might I might make my own deconstructed twin sister cocktail.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. You just, instead of a half an ounce, 2 ounces. 2 ounces
Right.
of light rum, 2 ounces of spiced rum. That'd be good.
Wouldn't be bad.
Half an ounce of Coke, half an ounce of lime juice. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
We'll see.
But yeah, it's called the Twin Sisters Cocktail. I can hardly wait.
You probably like some twin sisters. Double trouble.
I could tell you a story, Karen, but I'm not.
But you probably shouldn't.
All right, Karen, anyone you need to thank for this episode?
Overall, I'd like to thank our listener. There's a lot of podcasts out there. Thank you for spending time with us. What about you, Greg? Who do you need to thank?
I'm going to once again thank the band Verse 13 for providing all the music in the Scary Spirits podcast. There's a link to their Bandcamp page in the show notes.
The music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes, and use sunscreen, people.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening to the Scary Spirits podcast, where the movies might be iffy, but the drinks are always solid. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast, or go to our website, scaryspirits.com. And if you want the direct line, email us at info@scaryspirits.com. If you really want to help us out, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And remember, always drink responsibly. See you next week.